It's time to give Caladiums another try! Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, my name is Rose, my pronouns are she, her, and in this video, we're going to grow Caladiums again from bulbs, so this is a sneak peek. You may have seen me unboxing these bulbs on a short and a reel, a baggie. Oh, there's a cat in it! Okay, this is my new favorite bag now. It's Mickey! There were quite a few bulbs, and unfortunately the unboxing didn't go very smoothly. Oh, me! Fuck! Water on my laptop! Fuck! I let it dry for about 2 or 3 days, and when I switched it back on, there was no issues. It just worked again, so I got very lucky, I feel like. If you want to try and grow Caladiums, you can get your bulbs from Farmer Gracy with my discount code ROSE. I'll also link my affiliate link in the description below.
Flashback.
I am a little bit sick, but that means I have time to finally pot up the bulbs that I got. I have a bunch of Kana bulbs and finally Caladiums as well. So I'm very excited to see what they're gonna look like. Let's get started. Kana, I had never grown myself before. I got the right size pots, hopefully. I put some soil in there. I'm using my general airy soil mix for these. And then I inspected the bulbs. It looks pretty nice. I've seen Jan grow them, Sydney Plant Guy. I do notice that a lot of the roots look rotted. And feel rotted too. Even there's some dead ones in the soil here. So this basically only has dead roots. Ooh. This part is also squishy. So I'm not quite sure if we should cut it off to prevent it from rotting more. We'll let this dry out a little bit. Huh, this looks much better. This has growth points, a few dead roots, but also alive roots, if you want to compare what they should look like. That's it! I do have to say, now that I'm filming this several months later, those Kana, not all of them have grown, so I have to inspect what went wrong there. The Kana corms themselves are actually really small, so they don't need super big pots. I got some smaller pots for them. It's always tricky to figure out which way is up. In this case, you can see there is a little growth point here that helps, and usually the bottom is a little bit more flat, but it is a little bit tricky. I'll try and show you on each bulb. This is the top, this is the bottom, so that you can practice for your own ones if you get them. Mine arrived pretty late this year. I'm still waiting for a few more actually. Apparently Caladiums have been struggling the past few years. So, Kathleen. This one is the Spring Fling. I'm very excited to see this. I've been wanting to grow these for a while. Again, you can see here the bottom is a little bit flat, because that's rotted away older bulbs, and then the top is, in this case, 2 blobs with little points where they will grow again. So it's gonna go this way up. Little boobies facing up, and this flat surface is the bottom. Spring Fling I have several of, so this can be a bigger pot for the 3 of them. I'll have to make some more soil.
Five minutes later.
Okay, I made some fresh soil. Always when you use perlite, make sure you put a mask on. I used my boyfriend's very fancy full face mask, which might be a little bit overkill, but that's okay. Next, we have 2 more with 3, so we're gonna pop all of them together as well. These are Caladium Fanny Munson. So for these bulbs, they all look pretty round, and it's a bit harder to see. Then I just try and see where the most bobbly point things come up. I think this is the top. You can see the old growth point. So this is the bottom. This one is a little bit more clear. There's a point here. This is flat. It's gonna go this way, and this way, and this way. So on top. Don't forget to label them, otherwise you will definitely forget, because it's going to take a while before you see the leaves. And also I have found that sometimes the leaves look very different than what you thought you bought. Because when, for example, I give mine a lot of light, then the Autumn Beauty that's still coming looks a lot more red than what the images show. So they can look very similar, and they can look very similar to each other and different from what you thought they might look like. So Florida Sweetheart. Ooh, these are a bit bigger again. That's nice. Oh, this is tiny. I really definitely was very spoiled with how big my first batch of bulbs were. They were so huge, and these are... I'm gonna try and do a side by side of the size of these bulbs. This is the smallest one. This is a little bit of a bigger one that I currently have. I guess I was lucky, and also it had something to do with it being a good Caladium year. Someone told me. Label Miss Muffet. Ooh, nice. A little bit bigger, again with the flat bottom. And Festiva. I don't know what that looked like. Oh. Why do I keep talking while making all the loud noises? I don't know. This one has a big dent in it, so I'm not sure if that's gonna be happy. Miss Muffet. And then this one is a Colocasia Blue Hawaii. My brother is currently living and working on Hawaii. This is a Colocasia, so the corm looks a little bit different. I do see some growth at the bottom here. It looks like it's a bunch of them together. So I could break them up a little bit. Let's try it. Separating, because then we can have all the growth points facing up. Dust everywhere in this slightly bigger pot. I potted them up in the same way, and I did that with all the Kana bulbs as well, which I found a little bit boring to show you, so I'm just speeding that up real quick.
3 weeks later.
Hello, it's a few weeks later, and I got a few more bulbs in the mail. They took a little bit longer than expected, so we're gonna pot them up together. But first, let's check in on the plants that we already potted up. Here they are. Most of them don't have an update yet, like this one. The Spring Fling, 3 bulbs. There is no points yet, just double checking. The Florida Sweetheart pot, 3 bulbs. Also nothing yet. The Fanny Munson, 3 bulbs. Also nothing. Wow, this is not going great. Let's see. Caladium Fiesta. Nothing. Wait, did I get 2 Fiestas? Or Festiva? Whoops, sorry. Caladium Miss Muffet. Nothing. And Caladium Kathleen is the one that has a growth point. So this one is growing as the only Caladium at this point. But luckily, I also have these. These are the, why did I forget the word? Colocasia. I didn't show this earlier in the video, but I repotted the Colocasia that I already owned and separated a few of them because there was a lot of rhizomes in the same pot. These are Colocasia Pharaoh's Mask, and they become adorable later on. I'll show you them soon. There's more here and here. So there's a lot of points on those growing. So if you remember the size of the bulbs that we had before, you're gonna be shocked by these. I got this from Vreeken zaden. I actually ordered it on the 1st of February, and it's now like the 12th of April. They had a bit of an extra delay, and also some of these shops apparently just ship out months later when the season starts. But if I remember correctly, my first Caladium video, which I'll link in the description, I planted them in the beginning of January, February, and there were already leaves out in March. And now it's April and I still have to pot them up. But those bulbs, they were my biggest success with Caladiums. They were kind of the size of these bulbs that I'll show you better in a second. So I have high hopes for this. The first one that I got is Caladium Fiesta. Looks like this, hopefully. And the bulb is one of the smaller ones. but it's still pretty big compared to the ones that I already showed you previously. You can see here how it has different blobs that will grow. You can actually already see the points that are going to grow. And again, you can see the flat bottom, making it a little bit easier to know which way is up. Then we have the Florida Sweetheart. I tried this once before, but the bulb that I got was literally like this size and it never grew anything. This is the bulb that I got now, like with my hand. This is very chunky. You can see again, it's just gonna be a lot of leaves because there's, I don't even know, there's little bulbs underneath here even that are starting to grow. So I might actually, this is falling apart a little bit already. I might break it up into little pieces so it's more in one pot. But I love that. This is a good sign. I think it's gonna hopefully do better than last time. And then I got 2 of the Autumn Beauty, which on images looks like this, but actually in my house became super red, speckly green. Incredible. This was my favorite ever by far. And check out these bulbs. This is the one. I don't know which one will go. I think it's like this. So there's like 3 or 4 blobs together and then this flat part. See, that's the bottom. The other one is even bigger. Check this out. How is this? This also might become, like, I can feel this being quite separate. Oh, there might be some rot in here. Yeah, I can see some white and some rot. So we're gonna cut that out and let these break thingies dry a little bit. Because once you get rot in a bulb like this, they are very quick to continue rotting. But it's huge. I really hope to get some beautiful Autumn Beauty leaves. Wait, let's take it apart a little bit. I don't know if I recommend doing this, but I'm gonna do it. Also, I can investigate a little bit the rot. Should we take this apart also, or what do you think? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'll leave it like this. Maybe not. It's so satisfying. We'll see if this was smart. Okay, you dry for a little bit. I have a ginger lily over here, which is very chunky. Every time I go to a botanical garden, there is this amazing tropical smell that reminds me of Thailand and like my travels in Asia. And I think it might be this plant. So we're gonna try that out. Check this out. This is so chunky. Very cool. Very curious to see how this is gonna grow. Okay. And we have this Indian flower reed, striped of aduart, which I have no idea anymore what it is. Kana. Oh. This bulb or rhizome also looked not great in that it had a lot of dead roots around it. Of course, the rhizome itself is most important, and that did look pretty solid, except for here at the bottom it was a little bit black and squishy. I'm not quite sure which side is up on this one, so I think I'm gonna pot it like this, so it can grow up either direction. I'm using my aeroid mix again, very airy for the caladiums. Let's go find a bigger pot for the glass bulbs. Hello! Hello. I moved all my plant supplies into the greenhouse and then I was so tired. So now it's a huge mess. Hey look, the Canna Stuttgart is already growing. from 2 different spots. Boyfriend, you're getting cool plants for the outdoor shower. These ones are kinda, that are not growing yet. I found a solution. I had this pot in this pot, but not really a nice fit. Also not really necessary. So we're gonna use this one. It's by Elho. It's an outdoor pot, so it has built-in drainage. Oops. So let's try this one. Ew, rotting roots in the leca. I'm not necessarily using the leca as a drainage layer, but more because it's such a thick layer of soil. This will keep it light and also make the soil layer a little bit less. Also because there is no drainage on this pot. The drainage goes into this edge here. It just feels like a good solution because I don't have that much soil either. And this is a huge, huge pot. See, this is not even enough to fill the big pot. I'll put them with the thingy parts up for now, just so they can continue drying while I make some more soil. Yes. The label. Okay. Good morning. Today is the 25th of April and I finally have some Caladium updates. These are the ones that are growing. The fastest one so far is Caladium Kathleen. She has opened the sheath already and is now growing the first actual leaf point. They always start with this purplish type of sheath. Miss Muffet is growing its first point. See, tiny little one in there. Same with Festiva. Just a little point in the center there. And this one, the Fanny Munson one, also, I think, where is it? Oh shit. I keep losing, oh, there it is, I see it. I keep losing the points because they're so similar to the soil. But there we go, the first point is up. And then the surprise of the season, these were planted just 1.5 weeks ago. The Autumn Beauty, which also, by the way, is my favorite coloration, is also growing a point. Actually, there's several. Here is a point. Here is a little point. Here, oh, here's a little point. Once you see them, you can't unsee them, and there's more and more coming, which I love about growing these. So while the smaller bulbs took almost a month to pop up out of the soil, the big bulbs that I got on the second batch, some of them are already growing. I can't wait to see what these leaves look like once we get them open. I'll be back.
1 week later.
Quick Caladium update. This one, Kathleen, is about to open its first leaf. See? So we're gonna move this outside.
2 weeks later.
Quick Caladium update, because more and more points are now coming up everywhere. This one, this is Autumn Beauty, is about to open its first leaf. I don't want to ruin it. And this one, I've never grown this before. This Miss Muffet. Look how adorable. That is so cute. The rest, some of them are not doing anything yet, or just small points. And outside, the first leaf that is already fully open is this Kathleen, which is kind of see-through and kind of cool.
3 weeks later.
So many Caladiums are now opening their first leaves for most of them. Here as well, Fiesta. This is Fanny Munster. Fiesta. This is the second leaf already of Kathleen. That was the quickest one. Autumn Beauty has a bunch of new leaves, so many. And then here, Miss Muffet. And this is the, oh, Festiva, which I don't know much about. But there's also a few, which one is this? Florida Sweetheart is growing. And this Spring Fling is growing, but very, very small compared to some of these other ones. And then this Florida Sweetheart from the other shop is not growing anything yet. So I guess you have to be lucky that they grow big and quickly.
Several days later.
Ready for the Caladium update? This is Caladium Kathleen. She is definitely the fastest that came out. But since then, most of the other ones have also started growing and they are so beautiful. I love all these colorful leaves. It makes my heart so happy. Fanny Munson, Caladium Fiesta, my all-time favorite Autumn Beauties, Ooh, spring. Is this Festiva? This looks very, very cool too. Miss Muffet, growing well. And these ones are a little bit too small to see still, but also growing. So I definitely recommend growing Caladium. If you want to use my code ROOS with Farmer Gracy, you will get a discount on your order. I'll link it in the description as well with my affiliate link. If you use that, thank you so much.
3 weeks later.
It's time for the final Caladium update. Not really, there is one more, because all of them have started growing. Some of them took so much longer than others, you'll see. Let's just start with the slowest one. This is a Caladium Florida Sweetheart, which, can you see? Oh, where is it? This is the point. That's all it's grown. And this was planted the first batch. So, oh, actually there's 3 bulbs in here. And only 1 started to grow. This was planted at the end of March. And it is now the middle of June. So that's, they might have rotted. I don't know. We're not going to investigate because I'm very busy today. Some of them have definitely been so much slower than others. So the 2 things that I'm taking away from making this video with so many bulbs is, 1, sometimes a bulb is just a dud. I have several of the same kind and some just grew a lot faster. Actually, there's 3 things. 2, you can rot the bulbs if you, I think I kept some of them a little bit too wet maybe, so then the bulb rots before it starts to root and grow. And 3, the bigger the bulb, the better. In general, the bulbs have been very small in the past few years. My first ever Caladium video, my bulbs were huge, like I said in the beginning. And in this one, I did notice that the bulbs from Vreeken zaden were a lot bigger, even though they didn't have that many kinds. But I still love the amount of options that they have at Farmer Gracy. The prices are great. And of course, you can use my discount to get even lower prices. So the first one that grew was Kathleen. And she is burnt a little bit. I've changed the setup here in the greenhouse because direct sun is just a little bit too much for most of them. So now we have a shelf where on this side the Caladiums are sitting. So actually it looks very cute as well. This has grown a second leaf, is working on another leaf. That's a little bit more small and sad, but in general I'm pretty happy. It's not my favorite look for a Caladium, though the see-throughness is pretty cool. But I was happy to have it come out first, so that gives it special place in my heart. Next I'll show you this one. This is Fiesta. This is one of the ones from Vreeken zaden, which I planted the middle of April. This is a this is also burnt, as you can see here. It's a very quick grower. This first leaf was pretty big. There is another plant growing here. Look at that. About to open. There's about 4 growth points on this one bulb. So it just grew very prolifically. And this is what it looks like. Again, not my favorite color of Caladium, but still cool and different than most other plants here in the greenhouse. Next up is Fanny Munson, which was 3 bulbs that I planted in the end of March. And this is the biggest leaf. It is definitely cool, but because of the sun, it looks a little bit different than normal. So you can see it's a little bit see-through. And it's starting to be a little bit green on the veins as well. And then this second leaf, or second growth point really, looks a little bit more like what I was expecting. So there's a bit more green and pink. This one is actually super dark green. This little plantlet over here. So all 3 bulbs have started to grow, but some, look at that. This one is huge. This one is tiny. So there is definitely just, you have to have a good one. You have to be lucky to get a good one. I still think it is absolutely beautiful though, so I'm happy I tried it again. Next up, Miss Muffet. This one was planted at the end of March as well, and it has burnt a lot. I feel like the whiter the leaves are and the more see-through thin they are, the more sensitive they are. Look at all of that burntness. But it's got different growth points. Here again you can see the browning, but the new leaves that are coming out in my new setup don't want to be focused on, but look, very beautiful. Like this is a more traditional looking Miss Muffet, I feel like. Less damaged. So I think it's gonna be okay. Oh, and the little plants that you see at the bottom of the pot, they're all the ice flowers. I had a lot of seeds from Vreeken zaden, so I put them on all the plants as ground cover. I looked it up, and the English common name for these plants is ice plant, not ice flower. And you can see on the leaves, it looks like they have either frost or dew on them. They're beautiful, and the flowers make it even cooler. Next, this one I wanted to grow for years, and I got 3 bulbs. 2 grew and 1 didn't. This is Caladium Spring Fling, also planted at the end of March. They're kind of see-through, and there's quite a lot of leaves. Look here, and then, ooh, there's one more back here as well, and again the ice flowers. So even though this is not as big as I was hoping, maybe it's still coming. My boyfriend is working in the garden, sorry for extra noises, but I do love the veins and the color. This is my type of Caladium look. Next up, we have my all-time favorite, which might not be my favorite in this moment though. This is the Autumn Beauty. I had 3 bulbs that I planted in the middle of April, and there's so many growth points because the bulbs were so big. They all had separate pieces that were growing. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, at least 10 growth points in here, which is amazing. When you give these this much light, they turn dark red. When you give them a little bit less light, they actually supposed to have a little bit more even green and less red than this one. There's a cute little baby here as well. Let's see on this side. I hope I'm not putting all sorts of bugs in my neck now. All very red still. I think it's gonna change a little bit once they get used to, yeah, you can see it here also. Can I show you this? The newer leaves that are coming out with less light will be more green. Oh, look here. Down here you can see it as well. Often with Caladium, by the way, new leaves, that like the first leaves, the small ones, don't look at all like what the mature leaves look like. So keep that in mind. Sometimes I thought they were something completely different or they sent me the wrong thing. It's still stunning. I'm so happy I have this again, but wait until you see the next one. Oh, 'cause this is the Florida Sweetheart, also planted middle of April. This is one that I wanted to grow for years. I had a bulb a few years ago, but it rotted, never, water. I just watered all of these, so they're guttating all over me. If you don't know what that means, guttation is when leaves basically like sweat after you've watered them, especially alocasia do this as well, and monstera too. The excess water drips out the points of the leaf, and I just got dripped on. So this one, the previous one that I had never grew. I think I rotted it. But these ones have definitely grown very nicely. And I love that it's see-through. I love the dark pink veins and then the light pink leaves with the green edge, like the ombre effect. I do feel like maybe because of the bright light or something, most of these leaves are still tacos. So they're unfurling, but they're not becoming flat. I don't know if that's normal. If you have one and yours does this as well, let me know in the comments, please. I'm so happy with this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, more than 10 growth points from just the one bulb that I bought. So that's really impressive. I love this one. And again, we're gonna get some very cute bright flowers from the ice plants or ice flowers down at the bottom here. They're a little bit hard to show you because of the curling up. But this is one of my top ones. And then the last one, which I think might be my top pick for this year, is called Caladium Festiva. Sorry, I'm not saying that right. Caladium Festiva, which I got from Farmer Gracy as well. It is the same kind of see-through pink leaf with very green veins. So I love the contrast with that. It is growing a little side shoot and a flower, I think. Several of them have actually grown flowers, and I broke all of them off because I want them to focus on more leaves for me. Because, of course, this one leaf is stunning, but it would be so much cooler if it was a full pot like some of the other ones.
1 week later.
One plant that hasn't grown at all yet is the colocasia that I planted up. Esculenta Blue Hawaii. If I look into the pot, I can feel a rotted bulb in here. So I don't know what went wrong, but stuck my finger in it. You can see it right here. So I think I'm gonna take that out and investigate if there's something that we can rescue. Are we gonna do that together? That's a bit chaotic, but I guess we can do that. It looks like this is the bulb and it feels very, very soft. Ugh. The other one that hasn't grown at all still is the Caladium Garderianum. That's like the lily that I tried to grow. And I can still see the bulb. It's still solid. I kind of don't want to take it out because the beautiful ice flowers are gonna not be happy. But I'm very curious what is wrong with it. I don't know. I don't know what I did wrong. I do see roots though. Or is that from the small plants? I'm not sure.
3 weeks later.
Hello. So I thought that was the last update, but actually I didn't have time to edit this video for quite a while because of headaches and just feeling not great. I've been working on some special projects like recording yoga classes for a new TV program here in the Netherlands. Little secret for you. And that of course was amazing, but it also took a lot of energy. So I have had a lot of headaches. I've felt pretty bad often. So it's taken a lot longer to edit this and put it together. That does mean that you get one more update, and there are some cool updates to show you. I also thought it would be fun to include how I got it as a bulb and then how it looks now, 4 months later or 3.5 months later, depending on the shop. Not saying that one shop is better than the other, but there was definitely a size difference, but then there's also a amount of plants on offer difference and stuff like that, so keep that in mind. It's getting really hot, so just taking this off. The first batch of bulbs that I got were from Farmer Gracy, and the first one that grew was Caladium Kathleen. The bulb looked like this, and the plant looks like this. There's not a huge difference. This was the last leaf I showed you. It's growing one more over here. Very cute. It's one plant, one growth point, and the first leaf is usually, in my experience, a little bit bigger, and then the next ones get a little bit smaller, which is often like the opposite of other aroids. But I mean, it's growing. It's not my favorite color. It's not very full. I prefer a fuller pot, which you will see with some of the other bulbs. We did get a full pot from just one bulb, but it's grown. So 4 months will get you this. Sounds very papery because of the burn. I also got Miss Muffet, and the bulb looked like this, and this is what that plant looks like now. It is a little bit more full, but the size of the leaves is very, very small. I do see a big difference since I changed the light setup. The leaves are a little bit more green, a little bit darker, and just a little bit less burnt in general. But it's interesting how these leaves are so small if we compare to the first leaf on Kathleen. That is a big size difference. By the way, I never really liked Miss Muffet when I saw it on Instagram, and I decided to get it on this batch just to try it, and now I love it. It is adorable to me. The little dots are super bright pink. I think it's so cute. I was missing out before. I got 3 Fanny Munson bulbs that looked like this, and that plant now looks like this. Actually, it's not very full for having 3 full corms in there, or bulbs. Those, I use them interchangeably. Do you see how that is not a super full pot? So that's a little bit strange to me. I guess the bigger the bulb, the more growth points it will get. Also very noticeable here, the colors are very different. In my first ever video, my Fanny Munster, as I accidentally called it in that video, was see-through pink all the way. And these ones are a lot more, I don't know, greenish. And especially when I changed the light setup, look at how dark these leaves are becoming. So a lot more green, also a lot of bright pink, which is very cute. But it doesn't look anything like my first Fanny Munster. So I don't know if I should give it more light again and see if I can get back to that. But I do love it. I'm happy to own it. And the colors are so cute. The Caladium festivia is the correct name. I don't know why I kept saying it wrong this whole video. I'm so sorry about that. I did write on the label festiva, which is wrong, and then still my brain couldn't pronounce it. So the bulb looked like this. It was just a one bulb, and 4 months of growth got us this. 1 leaf and a few baby leaves. So that's not a lot. I would love this to be fuller, so I might get a few more bulbs of this because I do love the colors. They're so stunning. And you can see here with a lot of light, it looked like this. With less light, there's a lot more green and dark pink. And then these baby leaves even down here, they are basically green with just a few pink dots. So there is a huge difference in there. The ice flowers on this one are, or ice plants, are growing really, really well. So hopefully we'll get some bright colored flowers at the bottom to fill up the pot a little bit. One plant that I was really interested in growing for a long time, I'd seen it in botanical gardens and stuff, was the Spring Fling Caladium. The bulbs looked like this. I got 3 of them from this one. And this is what that pot looks like 4 months after. So again, it's more leaves than the other ones, but it is also 3 whole bulbs. So it's not very full. I do see a huge difference actually in this one. It's very interesting. These were the leaves when it was getting full sun. And with full sun, I mean like in the greenhouse, full sun all day long. Not like inside our house where it's different. When I change the setup around and they're on the other side of the shelves, we get these beautiful leaves. So for this one, I definitely recommend not as much direct sun as I was doing before, because now we're getting the beautiful white leaves and light pink leaves, which I've showed you, I guess, before, that I really love that. Look at this. That is stunning. There's a lot more baby leaves on the way in here as well. So it's growing well. And actually I noticed something. I don't know if I said this in this video. I should have. So I didn't show you any updates on the canna bulbs or rhizomes that I planted. Here is a quick overview. Especially the Stuttgart one is doing really well, which I love a lot because it kind of looks like a variegated banana. And we don't have variegated banana money, but we have variegated canna money. These are very affordable. So I'm very happy that that especially is growing well. The other ones are still a little bit smaller. And then some of them, the one from Vreeken zaden has not grown at all. The bulbs of the Colocasia Blue Hawaii that I got from them rotted away. But I just realized that in this pot there are little, on this side as well, Colocasia leaves. It was underneath my beautiful Pharaoh's Mask Colocasia, and baby corms dropped. I don't know, that doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe like it propagated itself onto this pot, but there's definitely several Colocasia growing together with this Caladium. So that's a little bit of a mystery that maybe I'll figure out with editing. I don't know. I don't know what happened. But I do love the look of this one now that it's getting a little bit less light. And although it's not as full as I would like, I'm happy I am growing it. The last one I got from Farmer Gracy was the Florida Sweetheart. 3 bulbs that looked like this when I planted them. And the last update I gave you, there was nothing growing, or there was like maybe 1 point growing in the pot. So I'm actually happy that this took a little bit longer to edit, because now you can hopefully see there are definitely leaves growing. But the ice plant is taking over this pot, and that has definitely made it harder for this Caladium to come out, because it's taking light away from the leaves, and also it's making it hard for the leaves to come through this whole big mess. So I've had a plan of moving them out, but also I want to see the beautiful flowers, so I'm not sure what I'm doing yet. But look, here is Florida Sweetheart. It definitely has many growth points. Don't know if you'll be able to see with the ice plant, but it's growing all over the place. And it is a beautiful one. But keep the size of these leaves in mind, and then we'll compare to the one I got from the other shop. So these are all the ones from Farmer Gracy. I also got one Florida Sweetheart corm from Vreeken zaden, which was about 2 weeks later. So the corm looked like this, and after 3.5 months, it looks like this. How amazing is that? That is what I was expecting and hoping for. I guess because I was spoiled the first year I tried them with how big and full the bulbs were, how many growth points there were on it. Look at the size. So much bigger, really beautiful light and see-through leaves. The pink veins, and look at how many stems are in there as well. It's just a super, super full pot that I'm very, very happy with. This is what I think Caladium should look like. So maybe that's a lesson for me to order multiple of the ones that I really love, because then you get a nice full pot either way. And then maybe if you're lucky and you get big bulbs, you get a huge pot like I will show you at the the end of the video. I would say in this case, Vreeken and Zaden did a little bit better. But like I said before, they only offer a few. So I actually am happy with the combination of the two shops that I did this year. So, so cute. I want to keep this in the frame. Can you see her down here? Maybe. The next one I got from Vreeken and Zaden was the Fiesta. The bulb looked like this. And 3.5 months later, it looks like this. So also, for one bulb, pretty full, I would say. And pretty big size leaves. I said this before, this is not my favorite color combination of leaves. But it is just cute and full. And I think some of my family members really liked the look of it when they came to visit. Because you don't often see a white and pink plant like this.
I've never seen it before in my life.
Boyfriend hasn't seen it ever before in his life. So it just gives a little bit of a different vibe to your collection. I do love that. I just broke off one of the flowers. So if you don't know, Caladium flowers look like this. Very similar to Alocasia and also philodendron flowers. And in this case, you can't see it very well, but the flowers also have the colors of the leaves. So the Miss Muffet flowers that I've broken off have the little dots on them. They're very adorable. Now I have one more to show you. The corms of the Autumn Beauty. I got 3 of them, or 2? I think I got 2. But they were very, very big. So I broke them into many different pieces. And 3.5 months later, this is what we got. Oh, the sun is out. I hope you're able to see. I'm filming this for the second time, and the first time there was no sun. So that's a little bit disappointing. But here are all the beautiful leaves. Wait, how can I hold it while I talk to you? What I wanted to show you, I moved this into slightly different light. And now you can see it looks more like it was on the sales page. So mine are always super dark red and beautiful. I do love the dark red. But this is what they look like probably in your house, if you don't have as much light or a greenhouse or a south-facing window. See how full this pot is once again? I am super, super happy with how this is growing. It's very heavy to hold up to you though, but it's really, really cool. One thing I do miss is the green spots that if you look at a picture of mine from previous years, you'll see bright green speckles on the leaves. And the current batch doesn't seem to have that. I don't know if it's something to do with the amount of light or the environment or something, but I would like some more green speckles. And that is it for the final update. Back to Roos from 1 month ago. Ugh. So that's it for the Caladium update. I hope you enjoyed this year's Caladium video. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. And if you want to check out Farmer Gracy or Vreeken and Zaden, I'll link them both below. I have a discount code for Farmer Gracy, not for Vreeken and Zaden, but I recommend both of them. They're amazing. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe below if you haven't already. And you can join my YouTube or Patreon membership if you want more. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!